Never, ever going camping in my life. Hello everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host. Isn't that an awesome shirt? John Maffio, and today's featured movie is Blair Witch. Not the Blair Witch Project, just Blair Witch. It's directed by Adam Wingard. It's the direct sequel to the original 1999 movie that had everybody talking and everybody asking, is this real? Because we were all innocent and the internet was very, very limited back in that time. Now we're all cynical. But yes, this is a direct sequel to the original Blair Witch, and it concerns the brother of the original character from the first movie, Heather, who went missing with two other people. The film crew who was making a documentary about the Blair Witch in Maryland, these woods. And the brother decides to go because he finds a YouTube clip or something that raises concerns and suspicions that his missing sister might still be out there. So he takes a few people out there, and then, things happen. Really quickly, I hold the first film in pretty high regard. It has its rightful place in cinema, and I adore it for what it is and what it was. Going into this, I had anticipation, I had hype, but I also had concerns. And having come out of it, there's things I liked and things I didn't like about it. Just to be blunt, I really enjoyed the movie, but there are things I could have done without, and I had a lot of things where I am scratching my head, scratching my crazy beard here, asking a lot of questions. But I think it's also a good thing that I came out asking questions to myself, because not everything was definitive. Getting all the acting out of the way, for the most part, everybody does a really good job having realistic, grounded performances. If you were in a situation like this, I think everybody would act the way they act in this movie for the most part. Aside from a few moments where things get really intense towards the end, people get a little over the top in their performances, compared to the first movie where everything really felt pretty real, at least in my opinion. For the most part, these guys did a good job too, but it felt more like a movie in this movie than it did in that. The film does a pretty good job of having a nice structure, as compared to the first movie where there was no real structure because it was just a documentary, they were just going out doing their thing. This movie has a beginning, a middle, and end. And for the most part, I was thoroughly engaged watching these characters do what they did, experiencing what they were experiencing from beginning to end, not to spoil anything. I didn't have a problem with any of the characters. Everybody had their purpose in the film, and I liked everybody in the movie. Were really bad decisions made, in my opinion? Characters making really dumb decisions? Yeah. Were there a lot of moments where there were a lot of jump scares and loud noises that didn't need to be there? Yeah, so the startling felt cheap. But, when it does get scary, it does get pretty scary. This film is like the original Blair Witch Project, but on crack. One, it does add to the mythology. Two, it does answer some questions, and it gives some theories, and then it leaves more theories for people to speculate on as they leave the theater. And I'm still thinking about some things that happen, because they kind of raise questions that might be answered, and they kind of don't answer them. They just kind of let things happen, and then you kind of just go like, huh? And other things you learn more about. Certain things that were enlightened upon in the first movie get more expansion in this movie too. Not to spoil anything. But there were a few things in regard to the direction of the story and character decisions, motivations and such that I did not agree with. The third act is where things really get bananas, and that was the part that I really enjoyed the most. The last 20-30 minutes or so, everybody's been saying in the reviews, at least I've been watching, that the last 20-30 minutes are the most controversial, but also the most intense, and it was quite intense. Certain things I really don't think I needed to see. There were a lot of creepy moments, a lot of moments where I was like, whoop, and then moments where I was like, ooh, that's cool, it's expanding on the mythology, and it's showing really awesome things. It's like a really creepy, haunted house ride at Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios. I will say, though, that Blair Witch is a very entertaining horror movie. It's got its moments, it's got a structure, it's got characters you can get behind. It's not annoying like the first movie might be to a lot of casual audiences. I think this is more catered to casual audiences than the original movie was. So if you go into this blind, just looking for a fun time, you're gonna get it. And you're definitely gonna get the creeps, the scares. Whether some of them are cheap, there are others that will genuinely terrify you. And this is probably one of the more well-made films as far as the found footage genre is concerned. It's a full-course Applebee's meal. That's not a bad thing. It's a really well-made movie. It's a good movie, It's a good sequel to the Blair Witch Project, but it didn't particularly blow my mind. It's a fun ride. Now I want to know from you guys, what did you think of Blair Witch? Do you think it was a good sequel to the original movie? Do you think it's worse? What do you think anything about Blair Witch or Blair Witch Project or Book of Shadows? Ew, forget that movie. In the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the rest of my social medias in the info box. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and just randomly going to do the Jay-Z Black Album pose. Ready? Go.